let's just get right into it. Most students are basically running on faulty software. You try to install programs like Study Harder or just Wake Up Earlier, but the underlying operating system is full of bugs. It's glitchy. And that leads to crashes, which we usually call burnout. So today, we're here to give you a full system upgrade. So, let me ask you a question, and be honest. Ever have one of those days where you feel busy from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, but at the end of it, you feel like you've accomplished nothing? You're not lazy. Your system is just set up to fail. You're stuck spinning your wheels, caught in a loop of activity that leads to zero actual progress. And that's exactly where the stickman mindset comes in. This has nothing to do with hustle culture or grinding yourself into dust for 18 hours a day. No, this is about being an architect, not a martyr. It's about building a simple, clean system that does the heavy lifting for you. Because willpower, well, it's a battery that runs out. A good system just works. Okay, so first things first, let's run a diagnostic on the most common glitches in the student OS. And what's really interesting here is that this isn't some kind of personal failure. It's a totally predictable system error. This right here, this is the downward spiral. It's a feedback loop from hell, really. It all starts with unstructured, chaotic study. That chaos spikes your cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, which in turn absolutely wrecks your sleep quality. So you wake up with that awful brain fog because your brain literally never got the chance to clean itself out. And that fog, it leads to even worse performance, which creates more stress, and boom, the loop just repeats, getting worse every single time. It's a biological trap. Right. So, to fix the software, you first have to understand the hardware it's running on. And here is the absolute key. Your brain's main limitation is not time, it's energy. Once you start thinking of your focus like a battery meter, the entire game changes. Just look at this comparison. The old mindset is obsessed with quantity. I studied for 8 hours today. Who cares? Were they 8 good hours? The new mindset, the stickman mindset, focuses on the quality of your energy. It works with your biology, not against it, scheduling the hard stuff for when you're at your peak. It makes you system dependent, which is reliable, instead of motivation dependent, which, let's be honest, is a total roller coaster. And look, this isn't just some cute metaphor. It is literally true. Your brain is a power hog. It burns through glucose when you're concentrating hard. That afternoon slump you always feel, that's a low battery signal. And half the time, what you think is laziness is actually just dehydration. Biologically, the feeling is almost identical to being tired. Your battery is just draining faster than it needs to. Now, here's where we get a critical shift in thinking. Some activities don't just cost energy, they actually create it. These are what we call performance multipliers. They don't take time away from your day. They make the time you do have way more effective. And the science on this is crystal clear. Getting enough sleep and regular movement can literally double the effectiveness of your study hours. Seriously. Sleep isn't downtime. It's the save and process button for your brain. It's when you convert all that stuff you learned into long-term memory. Sacrificing sleep to study is like typing a 10-page paper and then yanking the plug without ever hitting save. It's just pointless. So these things, they aren't chores to fit in around your real work. They are the real work. Just 20 minutes of movement pumps blood and oxygen to your brain, acting like a hard reset for your focus. Hydration and good food are just the raw fuel. If you neglect these, your entire system slows down to a crawl. Okay, so we've covered the internal hardware. Now, let's architect the external environment. A smart architect doesn't rely on willpower. No, they design a space where the right choice is always the easiest choice. This is the friction strategy, and it's deceptively simple but so powerful. All you do is make good habits frictionless and make bad habits a total pain in the neck. You want to study without getting distracted? Don't just try to ignore your phone, put it in another room. Increase the friction. Want to wake up on time? Don't rely on your sleepy self's motivation. Put the alarm clock across the room so you physically have to get out of bed. You're designing a system for your future groggy self to succeed. All right, let's put this all together. We've talked about the mindset, the biology, and the environment. Now let's install the actual operating system, the practical, day-to-day structure we call the daily skeleton. The beauty of this system is just how simple and clean it is. Your day gets broken down into 3 distinct phases, just like a computer cycle. You have a startup sequence, a processing period, and a shutdown ritual. This structure gives you clarity and completely eliminates that feeling of, what should I be doing right now? Phase 1, the morning startup, is all about booting up the OS correctly. You win the first hour, you win the day.
The most critical rule here, the absolute non-negotiable: no phone for the first 30 minutes. When you check your phone first thing, you're letting a flood of other people's emergencies and notifications become the first input to your brain. Instead, you hydrate, you move, and you get crystal clear on your priorities for the day. You start in control, not in reaction. And this chart shows you exactly why that daily structure works so well. It's not magic, it's biology. Your cognitive energy, your raw brain power, is at its absolute highest in the morning. It naturally dips after lunch, and it's at its lowest in the evening. A smart system doesn't fight this reality. It designs the whole day around it. So what does that mean in practice? It means you schedule your most difficult, brain-draining work for the morning. 1 hour of focused, deep work then is worth 3 hours of tired, distracted effort at night. Use a timer, work in focused sprints, and for the love of God, do not multitask. Then, in the afternoon, when your energy is lower, you shift gears to lighter work, like practice problems or revision. Now, your evening is not for grinding, it's for recharging. And just collapsing on the couch and scrolling for 6 hours doesn't actually recharge you. It just makes you numb. You'll still wake up feeling sluggish. A balanced approach is way better. Get some movement, do a hobby that uses a different part of your brain, maybe some light review, and plan the next day. This is how you actually refill the battery properly. And finally, the shutdown ritual. This is non-negotiable. You set a hard stop time for all work. Then, you do a brain dump. Get every single task, worry, or idea out of your head and onto a piece of paper. This gets the stress out of your brain so it can actually relax. And last, a digital sunset. That blue light from your screens tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, sabotaging your sleep and, by extension, all of tomorrow's energy. And remember, the whole point of all this structure isn't to be restrictive. It's actually the exact opposite. Building a reliable system gives you more freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from guilt, and freedom from that constant feeling that you're always behind. Because consistency beats intensity every single time. So that's really the bottom line. You can keep trying to force a glitchy, outdated operating system to work, or you can take a step back, become the architect, and install a system that's actually designed for clarity, energy, and sustainable success. The choice is yours.